Hello and welcome to another The Agent is In. This is episode 59, and today Craig's going to walk us through some extending the update policy with your own customizations. So, Craig, you want to show us what you got for us today?
Yes. Let me share my screen and then deal with the strange windows. That's what you get for using DWM, Tiling Manager. Okay, so I was working on some policy, and so just to review, sort of, CFEngine is a component that runs, and it's responsible for periodically running the update policy and then the policy itself. So, in other words, pulling the policy from a policy server hub down to the clients, and then actually evaluating the policy itself. There is a set of file extension names, roughly something like this, that are automatically pulled from the policy server, your policy set, down to the clients. But if your file doesn't have an extension on it, which that's certainly possible, or if you don't want the files to all go to every client, then you might need to do some custom update policy. Also, what happens if the policy server is not available? Maybe it's not a reliable network. Maybe you're operating on something that is on a moving vehicle that doesn't have internet all the time. So by creating custom update policy, you can pull down. So what happens often is when people write policies, when they want to say, like, render a template for SSHD config, they might copy from the policy server at that moment in the policy and then manipulate it. And so in this case, what I would suggest is, if you have like intermittent unavailability of the policy server, you might want to just copy that file down with the update policy extension, and then the actual policy, you manipulate the template, the mustache template, from just the local copy. So it's kind of a nice way of, the update can fail, but then the policy itself can be evaluated over and over and enforce what you want to enforce. This is the show notes I've got here. It's kind of going to act as my PowerPoint presentation. So there are several ways to get into the update policy that's default and add things to it. And the thing that I chose to do is to add a custom update policy, a bundle. So in order to do that, there are some augments that we can use. So this is def.json kind of stuff. So update inputs is an augment that we can use to add a file to the set of files run during the update policy run. And then this can append at the end of the number of bundles that are evaluated during the update policy your own custom update bundle. And then in this, I'm going to remote copy from the policy server some files down to the input dir. And in this case, I'm kind of showing how you can only copy files. You can choose to only copy files when they're needed for a particular host. So in other words, I have this flag file that I can set for a special host that that makes this class special host exist, be defined, and then I can use that to only copy those special files down. And then here I just copy all the files down for every client. And that's the basic idea. So to do this, I chose to use the build tools, CFES. So I made a project. I created a directory. I think I show kind of here. So I make a custom update directory. I made some files. I made a special file for the secret ones, and then this one's just kind of for everybody. And then I add that to the custom update. Now when I add it, it's a little tricky because I don't want it to pull in all the kind of normal things. So like by default, we will examine the CF files in that directory and say, hey, do you want to add this bundle to the bundle sequence for the policy, not the update policy, but the regular policy run. So I had to say, to none. I don't want that. I want this to be in the update policy. Okay, so let's take a look at, I'm going to take a look at the policy itself. It should be here. So this is a CFBS project, which will be available to anybody who wants to take a look at it. So I've got the CFBS JSON shows us kind of how things work, how things are added here. I've got master files, and I've got this custom update module, which adds this directory. I think this actually should be removed. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at the wrong one. Look at mine. Okay. So yeah, so that is removed there. I also added this little hello thing here to kind of have like a little kind of a little hello thing coming around every now and then. Okay, so then what else do we have here? We have this custom update directory. And inside here, we have a def.json that gets slurped up and merged into the top level def.json. So that's the ones that we saw before. So we have the file gets pulled in, and then the bundle gets appended. And then the policy we have here. Yeah.
Where does that JSON get slurped in? Is that by the build process?
It's by this right here, this directory. When you add a directory, it slurps in that JSON stuff.
Okay, so then
this is kind of this type of step called directory. When you CFBS add a directory is kind of nice because it's a bit magical. It kind of adds a lot of stuff.
So it takes JSON files and merges them with the def.json in the root.
Correct.
So it's like the CFBS build way of doing an additional augment, but without having it specified as a separate file that augments would traverse.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. Yes. Right. Yeah. So if we look at the result here, so I'll build it. Oops, build. Build. Okay. So then if we look at master file, also here, let's see, master files, def.json. So here you can see that they're inside there. Interestingly, let's see if it shows. Yeah, interestingly, it doesn't really show the step. It just says directory. So you can CFBS add a JSON file, and then it would kind of show that step as like a JSON file processing. But this directory step type just does multiple things. That makes sense. Okay. And that's really about it. So let's just see if it works. The old classic demo problem. I'm going to remove the files directory and all these here. What I have here is, and unfortunately the host names aren't very conducive to knowing.
They look like containers.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm on this ARM64 board that I have, and it's running Yocto and Docker. Doctor, give me the news. So yeah. So I have. What I did was I leveraged some documentation that a community member contributed about using Docker Compose to start up some instances. So I've got a policy server, I've got a Docker file here, and I've got two clients, client 1 and client 2, and they eventually get bootstrapped to the policy server. So this is the policy server here, and then I have two clients. So, and I have some scripts here to get into them. So the policy server is running here. And I also, so I did two kind of fun things here. I'm using Docker Compose containers, and I'm using master file stage to get the CFPS project working with the community install, not the enterprise install. So CFEngine DC scripts. So I've got some setup here for, let's see. Yeah, it's fine. So I've got like my URL, and I've got a token in there and some things. And so I'm able to use master file stage to get the policy down from the Git repo and deploy it locally. So that's pretty cool. I didn't actually know that worked, but it does. So now you can see that it's updated some files. So look at inputs and find files, and it's got this file as no secrets because this is the policy server. Now, if I go to client 1 and I look at, there's this flag, right? Okay, so the flag is there. So this is a special host. And if I run the update policy, it did some stuff. And in files, I have this secret file because it's a special case. And then in client 2, I don't have the flag file. So let's go into inputs, and it's already run because execd is running in the background, and it's got just the file that has no secrets. So it works. Several things work here. Docker Compose, community, policy server, and clients in containers on Rel 10, and that custom update policy as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So then this the special policy that you've got there, like with the semi-secrets, or the files that are not they're available to all clients, but it's not something that all clients would choose to pull.
Yeah, they could easily, I haven't set any access rules or anything like that would limit them from retrieving it if they had policy to do that. It's just that kind of by default, I just send the things that are retrieve the things that are needed. Yeah, right. And so it's not like a secure way. It's more just a, just kind of by default. It's
right. It's just you're limiting who you're distributing to. But if we wanted to lock down access for it, well, we've got to, like, if it really is secret, right? We've got CF secret tape, right? So you could encrypt the files that are maybe available to everybody, but encrypt it for just specific hosts, because you can have a single file that's encrypted for multiple hosts to decrypt. And or we could use access promises to restrict hosts by key or subnet, who would be able to actually access the files in those directories. So then we'd need to have another process of like, how do we know what hosts should have access to these subset, and then how are we going to identify them by network or by host identity, like host key?
Right. Okay. So something like this.
Exactly.
Yeah, where we have like different directories have different admit or deny attributes. Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. Right. Anybody have questions? No. All right. Well, I don't think I have any other questions, so I think we can probably call this one a wrap as well.
Cool.
Thanks for joining us for episode 59 as we march toward our 5-year anniversary. We will see you next time for episode 60.